of stuff completely left unattended. You can go and get as much as you want. So if you want bowls and bowls and bowls of nacho cheese, the very nice people at Royal Caribbean have made that an opportunity for you. So one of our very first meals, we went to El Loco Fresh. Now, do you know that people on the internet lie? We were so excited. It did not look like that. Here's what happens when you put a fixins bar near a cruise ship swimming pool. 1,000 little 8-year-olds run all over the place and touch everything. The nacho cheese is in the taco chicken. The tomatoes are in the sour cream. The guac is everywhere. And there's mounds of chips, like in a 3-county area out in the middle of the ocean. It was not El Loco Fresh. The good news is there was a lot of it. The bad news is it wasn't very good. You know, every once in a while, pastors have to say very hard things to their congregations. Let me tell you a very hard thing. Kind of like Golden Corral. The good news is there's a lot of it. It's not very good. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. And so we went and we ate. We ate hard. Do you know who goes on cruises? You've probably heard this before. You know who? Three groups go on cruises. Newlywed, overfed, nearly dead. I wish I had made that up. That's funny. The newlywed, bunch of cute little young couples. The overfed, that was me and Dana all week. You know, the pizza, it was 24 hours, but it wasn't very good. Ice cream, anytime you wanted. It wasn't as good as Dairy Queen. Just, you know. And El Loco Fresh, meh. The good news is there was a lot of it. The bad news it wasn't very good. We filled up all week long. But much of the food wasn't very satisfying. In John chapter 6, we read about a feast. It's a miracle. All the other gospels, all throughout the Bible, they call them miracles. John calls them signs. This is one of the signs that Jesus was the Son of God. This is one of the signs that Jesus had the power to do all the things that he did and that he said he would do. John chapter 6. We're going to read a chunk of John chapter 6 today. A lot of times I'll ask you to stand, but you can have a seat because we're going to kind of go through it piecemeal this morning. But if you remember, Jesus has been up in Galilee and then down in Jerusalem and then in Samaria in the middle, and then he's back down in Jerusalem, and now he's back up in Galilee, back up in his home country, back up in his stomping grounds where he grew up near Nazareth and Capernaum and Bethsaida, up near the Sea of Galilee. That's where Jesus was from, and that's where most of his disciples were from. They're kind of back in their home country now, up in Galilee. So chapter 6 starts like this. Sometime after this, Jesus crossed to the far shore of the Sea of Galilee, and a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the signs that he had performed by healing the sick. Last week, we looked at chapter 5, and Jesus healed a paralytic. For 38 years, he had been paralyzed, and he had been sitting by the pool of Bethesda, and Jesus sees him and heals him. And people saw this, and they're drawn to Jesus. Then Jesus went up on a mountainside and sat down with his disciples. When rabbis sit down, they're teaching, and their students gather around, often at their rabbi's feet, and they listen to their rabbi. Jesus went up on a mountainside and sat down with his disciples. The Jewish Passover festival was near. When Jesus looked up from teaching his disciples, when he looked up and saw a great crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" Why Philip? He's from there. Okay, we learn in chapter 1 that Philip was, I think I'm pronouncing this right, from Bethsaida. Not Bethesda, Bethsaida. Philip, I believe, is from Bethsaida. Now, little towns at the north part of the Sea of Galilee, you know, there's Bethsaida, and then there's Capernaum, where Matthew, Mark, Luke, and not Matthew, Mark, Luke, where Peter and Andrew and James and John, and then in there somewhere, you know, these cities. Some of these cities are 3, 4, 5 miles apart. Some are 7, 8, 9 miles apart, but a pretty small area. Jesus looks at Philip and says, "Where are we going to get food for all these people?" He asks Philip because this is where he's from.